There are a few things that I wish I knew when I went to the climbing gym for the first time, so I'm going to share that with you today. If you don't want to look like a noob and you want to climb confidently, then stay tuned because we're going to go through everything that you need to know on day one, along with 3 tips that would have leveled up my climbing immediately and saved me weeks of frustration had I known them to begin with. I'm Sarah and welcome to Send Edition, where we help you feel more confident and climb harder. In a moment, we're digging into what you need to know about your climbing shoes on day one, but first, let's talk about what you wear. Make sure you take off any rings, no any dangling earrings or anything like that. We don't want it to get caught. We don't want it to tear your finger off, especially if you're rope climbing. Put your hair in a ponytail so it doesn't get caught in the belay device. I like wearing tank tops, t-shirts. I wear pants a lot, but they're really stretchy so I can move around in them. Some people like leggings. Wear leggings if you like leggings. Some people like shorts. Wear shorts if you like shorts. Anything that you can move around in without tearing, you're gonna be good. And yes, you'll notice I'm wearing a watch. You can wear a watch, but no, it's gonna hit the wall. You're gonna get it scratched up. It might get ruined. I'm just saying. Okay, let's talk about climbing shoes because you can rent these shoes at most gyms. I think like every gym does. But something special about these shoes is they're actually formed in a way to cuff your toes. So unlike tennis shoes, when you get on your toe, it helps support this. It's not as bendy and it helps you stand on your toes better than your street shoes, which actually a lot of gyms don't allow street shoes. Rent the shoes. The rubber is also really good because it's sticky. Rental shoes, they're not as sticky, but you still get that benefit of the toe. Question though, how should the shoes fit? We don't want our toes to have any space. We want them to squish together, like one big toe. If you have a lot of room, maybe size down. Shouldn't cause pain, but usually it's uncomfortable. Oh, and if you're wondering if you should be wearing socks with your shoes, it's totally up to you. Some people prefer wearing socks with rentals. Usually though, when you're using your own shoes, sockless is pretty nice because you can actually feel the rubber underneath your feet. Okay, let's talk about tip number 1, which is in reference to your toes, but I'm not talking about placing your toe on the hold. Instead, I'm talking about how you can actually use the holds and your toes to move your body. All right, let's get into it. In case this is the first time you're hearing this, the optimal part of your foot to use is your toe instead of the ball or the arch of your foot. In addition to allowing you to pivot, it enables you to move your body with your legs. When pulling, think like an eagle's talon, digging into the hold and pull with your legs. How do you even start a climb? Well, most climbing gyms have some sort of indicator of the start hold. They have these little chips here. Some gyms have tags. Essentially, this has 2 chips, which means 2 hands on this hold. This white one though, there's 1 chip here. And can you see this chip right here? So that means that you are going to do 2 hand start. Let's talk about this, how you actually get up a route though. Once you get both hands on, before moving your hands, you need to get both feet off the ground. So you could do this if you want, but I would put your feet on holds if you can. All right, now that we have a proper start, let's move to the next hold. You're gonna stick with the same color as you climb. So I started on a yellow hold, so I'm gonna only use yellow holds. And keep climbing until I reach, in this gym, they have this top insignia. 2 hands on this. 2 hands, you can just tap it, and then you can get down. Pretty easy. This leads to tip number 2, when you should use a foothold and when you should just use the wall. Okay, you might think you should use this foot, but it's kind of hard to leverage over here. So instead, put your foot out to the side, push. Just because I put my foot out wider, made it so I could push further. Way easier this way. And in case you didn't catch that, I'm using the wall instead of a foothold. Often we need a wider stance than permitted by the provided footholds, so we can smear our foot against the wall to accomplish that. So should you use chalk? Well, I've got sweaty hands. I need chalk, otherwise I'm gonna slip all over the place. If you've got sweaty hands, hey, there you go. How much chalk should you use? It's up to you. Some people use a ton of chalk. I'm on the heavier end because I have really sweaty hands. It's dependent on how much chalk you need. Don't do that. Really uncomfortable to breathe. So don't do that, okay? Just keep it in the bag if you can. At bouldering gyms, you might see these around where you can stick both hands in. Otherwise, if you're using a waste bag, keep your hand in the bag while you're applying the chalk so you don't get it all over the place. Oh, and one other thing, some gyms require chalk balls or liquid chalk. So if you don't know, ask the front desk. A lot of climbing gyms have a very clear space where you can walk around. This gym, it's a little bit more open up. You'll see the mats underneath where we are. Avoid walking close to the walls in case someone's climbing on it. Be aware of other climbers and give them space. In addition to physical space, also consider the routes that may overlap each other. If a climber's on the purple route that overlaps yours, wait until she's safely on the ground before hopping on. You could repeat or try routes multiple times, but if you fall more than once, back away from the wall so another climber can try a nearby route. All right, let's talk about falling and climbing because it's gonna happen. If you feel like you're gonna fall, take a second and look at the ground. Make sure it's cleared of children and sticks and stuff like that, okay? Then you're gonna climb, try and land on both feet at the same time. Everything bent, ankles, knees, butt. And then if you need to, absorb the fall by rolling into your back with your head tucked and your arms tucked. One of the biggest injuries in climbing is people trying to catch with their wrists. They break their wrist. So keep those arms in, okay? I had one climber I was coaching ask me, at what point do you stop falling and climbing? Actually, I fall more now than I ever have climbing, and it's because I'm getting on harder things that are well beyond my ability, and falling is just part of climbing. It's okay. It might be scary at first, it'll get easier. Which leads us to tip number 3 about getting on routes that are hard, and this may be a little advanced, but I definitely wish I knew it sooner. Try the route from the beginning on your first go. But if you don't know if you can make it a second try, use your energy on the part of the route that is especially challenging. This can mean that you skip a portion of the climb or even use adjacent routes to get into place. Do this until you feel confident with each move. Then start from the beginning and finish the route to complete your project. When you try a route multiple times, it's called a project. Projecting is the act of trying to figure out and finish your project. It's one of the best ways to level up your climbing, with a balance of training, of course. Unfortunately, most climbers don't know the best way to train or get better at climbing, which is why I made this video for you to watch next.